Hi YouTube and happy Tuesday. It's pretty gloomy outside here on this overcast late November afternoon in suburban Maryland. So I've chosen to come inside in the warmth in the basement, famous from my prior videos, to tell you about the electric coroplast control line plane that I built recently and now flown 31 times for at least 2.5 minutes each. This is an electric plane that is built in the style of old control line or U-control planes. Basically, that means you hold a handle that you can see affixed to the plane there from about 20 to 50 feet away, and the plane spins in a circle. You use that handle to control the plane, just the elevator, moving it up and down in various ways, just to have fun or to do various tricks. This is a very simple, really fun to make plane that you can make just from signage material. I got interested in building this because I had built the Manwin Coroplast control line trainer with a Cox .049 engine. I recorded a video on that about 13 years back, and I'll add a link to that video in the description. I'll be honest, I can't stand gas model plane engines. They're gross, they're really loud, and I'm not that good with my hands. So I was always worried when winding it up that I'd end up cutting my finger, or maybe not cutting it off, but hurting my finger from starting that up. This is great because it's all electric and it relies on a timer. You can see on the right there. That's programmed, so you just touch this pin for 5 seconds, have a delay to get out to where you put your control line handle, and then after 30 seconds, the plane takes off. Okay, so I'll just show you this from a few different views. It's all made out of 4mm thick coroplast, core flute, corrugated plastic, signage material. I guess it weighs somewhere in the range of 10 to 12 ounces. I made this based on the Manwin plans. The wing is pretty much a carbon copy of the Manwin wing. It's 24 inches long and 9 inches, 24 inches wide and 9 inches deep at the deepest part. The fuselage, I think, is about 1 or 2 inches tall, and it has poplar dowel reinforcements on the top and bottom of the wing, just to prevent any, as my cat agrees, the fuselage from vibrating, from bending back and forth. There are 3/16 inch poplar dowels, again on the top from the very end of the rudder here down to the end of the wing. And then if I flip it, just 9 inches along the end of the wing. I also have probably too much in the way of poplar dowel rod reinforcement. I have some electrical tape on top of a poplar dowel rod here on the bottom of the fuselage and along the wing, just for further reinforcement, reducing wing bending and vibration, and for additional strength in the case of a crash. I guess reinforcement or protection in the case of a crash. The landing gear were very fun to make. They are kind of bendy. The landing gear is all made from 1mm aluminum sheet. I think this adds a lot of drag, but surprisingly not that much weight, as my cat agrees here. You know cats, they've got to be in the video. Anyhow, it's made by multiple 1-inch by 6-inch strips of 1mm thick aluminum. 2 pieces down here on the sides that are bolted down to each other and to the fuselage with M3 0.5 pitch, I believe, bolts and nylon lock nuts, and then another reinforcement that goes up to the motor mount. Okay, so those are some basic aspects of the construction. I think just cutting the coroplast and assembling most parts just took a day or two. The engine mount equivalent, the motor mount, is made of additional pieces of 1 millimeter thick aluminum sheet, bolted down and secured with M3 0.5 pitch. I think it's 0.5 pitch bolts with nylon lock nuts to keep that from flying apart. Looking at the motor and looking at the plane from the front, the motor and ESC are incredibly common and very inexpensive. I'll just flip this around so you can see the motor type. Let me actually flip it back like that and then see if you can see it better. It is a 2212 6T 2200 kV motor, as you can see up there, and a 30 amp ESC. These come together along with a propeller mount and some propellers on eBay for about 17 bucks or so. I've mounted the ESC in yellow, as you can see there, with electrical tape and Velcro to the other side of the motor mount. Let's see. Okay, so I have a 7x6 propeller on this. I've experimented with a lot of propellers, a 6x4 propeller, a 6x4.5, 7x4 that I've used for a lot of my training flights, and now 7x6 with a 2S 1000 milliampere hour battery. I think 2S is really the important part there. With a 2S battery, a 90% maximum throttle setting on the timer, this 30 amp ESC, the A2212 6T 2200 kilovolt motor, and a 7x6 prop. The estimated amount of power, output power, is 105 watts, and I think about 1.5 pounds of thrust. I found by far that's given me the best flights, best takeoffs and landings. And even to give some more detail or more anecdotes on that, I had my first successful landing without nose over or bending the landing gear last night. Again with that 7x6 prop, 1000 milliampere hour 2S battery, and 90% throttle. Okay, so that I talked a little bit about the power system. I know there's a lot of nuts and bolts, metaphorically and literally here. I'll talk a little bit more about the control system. I'm not going to unwind this for you, but I devised a method with some Velcro to hold down my nice, probably injection molded SIG half-A plastic handle there with some Velcro. I'll show you how that comes off. I have a red Velcro strap and a blue Velcro strap for the control line handle and battery respectively. I've picked these colors because I'm in Montgomery County, Maryland, and these are the county colors. I think also there's white and gold, but I think blue and red are very Montgomery County-ish. Okay, so I have this Velcro strap on either side of the cockpit equivalent that I just marked off with some electrical tape. I take that off, and then I have another piece of Velcro up on top of the control line handle there, which is perfect for just storing everything and conveniently wrapping this up. When I prep, what's the word? Set my plane up for flight, I take this off, unwind the 25 feet or so of Dacron line that came with a half a control handle, and I mount my battery right in here with maybe a 1/2 inch of gap from the leading edge. I'm still working out ideal CG through battery placement there. You can see I have a little runway, so to speak, of Velcro here for mounting the battery. I haven't had issues with the battery coming off. And I use this blue Velcro strap that I talked about a little while ago just for securing the battery down. Okay, so I think that's almost everything. Let me put this, just talk about the control system now and wrap up. It's a great little plane that probably costs about $50 total in materials to build and flies really nicely. Okay, so I'll wrap up now by talking about the control system. This is a SIG half A bell crank that I've mounted with a, that was my cat, 256 screw. I have some music wire. I forget what diameter this is. It might be 1/16 or probably 3/32 now I think about it. I got this at Home Depot. I then have the control horn connected to the control surface there, which is an elevator that's probably, what would I say, maybe 1.5 times as long as the stabilizer. I've cut a hinge, as you can see on the bottom, by cutting out one flute and just exposing this, exposing enough of the flute that I can come all the way in as well as all the way out. I've mounted a control horn that comes with the bell crank to the flute closest to the make-do hinge. And I don't know if you can see it here, but when I zoom in, you can see that I've cut some additional openings through that flute just to give this more flexibility. Alright, so that's pretty much the control system. Another very critical detail, had I omitted this, this would have failed, is additional couple pieces of flute to serve as a control rod guide. Otherwise this would bend back and forth. It would bend up and down, and I wouldn't be able to use the elevator at all. I don't know if that's ideal practice, but it is a sort of mechanical engineering that I'm used to from the bike maintenance and bike repairs that I do quite frequently, as you know from my other videos. I've had a lot of fun flying this. I don't think it's powered sufficiently well, or maybe the lines have a little too much drag to do stunts. I haven't done loops yet. I've done, I guess, a small wing over with the control lines, maybe a 45 degree angle from the ground, but definitely it's flying super well with a 2S battery and 7x6 prop on that 2200 kV 82212 6T motor. One other thing I'll mention for adhesives, you'll see I have a lot of electrical tape and bolts, but I'd say chloroplast isn't that bad to work with as far as adhesives. I just make sure to take some sandpaper from my bike tube patching kit, roughen the surface to get some coating off, and then I use flexible vinyl plastic fabric adhesive Loctite makes, which I got at Lowe's, to put different components together, even this stabilizer into a cutout flute of the fuselage, and the wing to a cutout flute of the fuselage. Okay, so with that, I think I wrap up the video. It's a ton of fun to make. By far, I think my favorite part was programming and using this Adafruit Trinket M0 microcontroller that I've programmed with CircuitFlyer's touch-and-go firmware. Ton of fun to build and to use. I had no idea there's, just for $9 you can program your own control line timer. But thanks to that, I've had a lot of fun. I've done about 31 flights. I'm making a point of taking this to baseball fields around the area for flying. And I look forward to getting good enough and having sufficient power to do various aerobatics and stunt maneuvers. I might either need a control line with lower drag, or a propeller and powertrain that provides a little bit more thrust. And with that, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any thoughts about improving the plane or your experiences control line flying, please leave them in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching, and if you like what you see, please like and subscribe as always. Have a great rest of your week and happy Thanksgiving.